Greetings, Grasslanders. Welcome to episode 11 of the Ultraviolet Grasslands. I am your host and game master. I am Eric. I'm EricVulgaris. Pronouns he or they. I'm super excited to be here. Sorry we couldn't play last week. I was super sick, but now we're back in the Grasslands, and I'm super excited. I love this game so much. Adam, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Vesh is the surviving character, and so I'm going to try very hard to make it at least for a nice baker's dozen or whatever. And I'm on call this week and not feeling so great, so I am all interested in game time. I'm kind of missing it. How about you, Grant? How are you feeling?
Well, I'm breaking necks and cashing checks. That's just the way I roll, soul brother. I'm Grant Ellis, and I'm here to return as Umberta. Gosh, I've
Keep it going. No, don't lose it. Don't lose it. Please. I'm so good.
And I want everyone to know when Grant Ellis is in the building, woo! Showtime.
Yeah, we need your energy.
And you, Sage,
gotta have your energy.
Playing a new character today. I'm playing Fermi, the exotic wasteland wizard or summoner. Man, that was harder to say than I expected. Since I didn't really want my character to be exotic, we decided that the kind of wasteland being summoned was exotic. And he's kind of a particle physicist wizard, basically, kind of drawing from the Wikipedia page on exotic matter, which I've had open in a background tab all week. And so, he does a lot of magic, which will be very exciting and random because I'm rolling it up right now. Yeah. And he does that by drawing on the weird substrate of particles that exist everywhere in the wastelands, but aren't strictly matter. And we'll see how that goes. Oh, and I'm Sage playing for me. He, him pronouns. Yeah, that's it. Over to you, Eric.
Yeah, cool. We didn't do the best part, which is what are we drinking? I'm back to drinking that Canadian Connection. It's super good. What about you, Adam?
I'm finishing the end of my Dalmore. Not quite at the end, but it's just so nice and smooth and good. So, how about Grant? Do you have a beverage?
These are the corpses I've left on the side of the road. There's a Diet Dr. Pepper, sugar-free Red Bull, and Paradise Monster.
High class. It's the best.
I'm drinking a Hop Valley Bubble Stash, which is fine. It's a nice, easy to get. We got a big Costco size variety pack of them. They're good.
Is it New Mexican?
No, sadly not. I actually realized I'm having a few people over for games this weekend. I wish I would have kept some New Mexican beer to give them, but sadly that's all gone. There's plenty of other drinks though. So
yeah. Great. Okay. So where we last left our heroes, the party braved the south-facing passage, the Long Ridge, and then decided instead of going back to the Grass Colossus, they were like, the Serpent Stones are more fun. And we did that instead. And we took off west towards the Serpent Stones. On the way, they met some very hungry, ghostly white vampire grass and fell asleep around the stones. They learned that as you fall asleep near these stones, it attunes your soul to them. And this particular stone led to a soul-powered warp web. And before it was too late, poor Herodotus fell asleep and is never able to wake again, and he continues to fall in that weird soul warp web forever. Awesome.
It's the best. The best way to die. Sleeping.
Yep. Do sleep.
Died as he lived. Sleeping.
It's so good. Yeah, so the funeral was had. Some time has progressed. And I feel like this is the perfect moment when Sage is ready, that you guys are getting ready to head on, move out, when there's a little silhouette on the distance on their way towards you, and Sage's new character who's been tracking you for quite some time.
Sweet.
I've been tracking you for quite some time. I think Fermi basically looks like kind of a scavenge scientist type, like a physicist, not a mad scientist exactly. Kind of thin and a little gangly. Actually, I know exactly what he looks like. I'll find it. There's a great comic called The Manhattan Projects that's all this alternate history of basically Fermi is an alien in that one, and he looks slightly alien, and I think that's pretty much exactly what Fermi, my character, looks like.
Nice.
like just slightly mutated by the exotic grasslands that he's summoned, and
I love it.
he's on the road to explore the clues to the Great Forgetting, and something that he found in his research has led him to you as the next people who could help him with understanding the Great Forgetting.
Right? Did you bring supplies with you? It's probably the first question. Like, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. Did you bring anything to eat?
I think it would be most dramatic if he did, but they ran out just as he arrived, basically. Like, he currently has no supplies. He has gone through them all to get here, and kind of arrives with a, like, I'm so glad that I found you.
Yeah.
I couldn't have made it much further.
Yeah. All right. So the scene here is you're all kicking around a campfire. Being cooked is a small, looks kind of like a chitinous bunny. It's called it's blue. It's called like a loper, and it's good eating. Just got to crack through the shell and cook it, and that's currently what's like on the spit right now as y'all are showing up. Yeah.
Feeling excellent.
So you're all doing okay. You're cool with this stranger, Umberta, Vesh.
Walks up out of the shadows.
Yeah. Not quite out of the shadows, but yeah.
And is muted.
Brush the sage's audio.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
I've been muting myself while rolling up my spells, so you don't hear my keyboard clicky clacking. Yeah, he definitely starts with a dramatic entrance and then introduces himself. Like, I'm Fermi, a wizard of no affiliate, or a exotic grassland summoner of no affiliation. I found notes deep in a book that a one named Vesh had something about them of the Great Forgetting. What I don't know is that this could also be the donkey, but
No.
I better really hope that.
See, I rolled my deep and murky past roll.
Oh
at the beginning of the session, and my background is totally different. And see, actually, I'm hiding from people searching for me about the Great Forgetting, and I know many, many things, but I've forgotten it. I blocked it out in my mind. Like when you go undercover, like super deep undercover, you're gonna have to find the Manchurian Candidate code phrase to unlock.
Oh my god, I love it.
Perfect. Yeah. I definitely found something for maybe somebody who knew you back when you were doing
back in the before times, a half burnt scrap of paper.
Perfect. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure the missile silo fiasco didn't hurt either.
Oh no, not at all.
It was fine. Nobody's going to be looking for us.
I love that. That's awesome. Cool. So, do you know anything about these serpent stones, Fermi?
Probably a little bit. Let me. I want to find out what my last. I need one more word of my current spell, and then my last spell. I may have spell here that can help.
No problem.
Eric, do you want to talk about how he's rolling up these spells so that?
Yeah, totally. So people know what's going on.
Awesomeness?
No, they're just not going to know. Okay, that's how I. No, of course. There's a great game out called Maze Rats that uses a different spell type, spell casting system, and we decided because you're an exotic element summoner, it make more sense to use a completely different magic system and just throw it in here and see how it works. Effectively, what happens is Sage is rolling up spells, and anytime you pick a spell, rather than a spell from the Black Hack list, you just get sort of a list of, you roll for sort of the meta framework of a spell, which is sort of like, like how would you know? A physical or an ephemeral or ethereal effect tied to a verb. So you could get something like ghostly sickness or like, lightning hammer as the spell name, and then you can kind of describe what the spell does with those effects. I told Sage because of that loosey-goosiness of it, If you're trying to do a particularly powerful effect or something like that, then we'll probably reel it in. Maybe say it's like, you roll a disadvantage when casting the spell or things like that. But yeah, the idea is a little bit more wobbly spell casting, even more so than just the general lists, right?
Yeah,
We
what
thought it'd be
we've been
fun.
playing so far is very normal.
Growing hearts and
straightforward.
very, very normal.
I now know a lot more about Fermi's magic. While he's a exotic grassland summoner, the only kind of grassland that he's very attuned to right now is like swampy, because all of his spells have some sort of water element in them.
Are you a blue lander heretic?
No, definitely no. Unaffiliated,
Okay.
as I said, totally unaffiliated.
Okay.
I mean, that's what he says.
As you eat your yogurt.
Yeah. He very well may be a blue lander heretic. That is entirely possible.
Or maybe just the Blue Landers were an heresy and they just knew something that the others did it. I don't know. Who knows? We'll play to see.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, tell us.
So I think seeing what's going on here, Fermi says something about like these stones. Do you know anything about them?
I don't think so, Umberta. We only know what we learned a few nights ago when our friend was lost to one.
And I unlearned everything by lying next to it.
I'm not surprised. Here, let's see if we can reveal something of what these do, or with the power behind them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast Revealing Steam.
Yeah. Okay.
Which
that's not a Naruto spell.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. I guess I would have had to say what I had memorized. Apparently, it was Revealing Steam, which makes a lot of sense. Out of my spells, I'd probably bring something that was more finding stuff out because I've been traveling, not, for instance, banishing snow.
Man. Kill me so I can make a wizard, man.
Banishing snow is very interesting.
Yeah, the two others I'm going to keep as a bit of a surprise.
Is that like a heat spell because you're getting rid of cold, or is it?
No, the snow falls
you
and
pass
as it
things
falls,
to the snow realm.
They fade into static and then they just disappear altogether.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking that the snow is like ash, basically. It's like part of casting the spell, you burn something and like it makes a ridiculous amount of ash that falls around and banishes things that aren't of this things that are made of exotic grassland, maybe.
Yeah, it carries the things away.
I'm actually not a very good exotic grassland summoner. I'm more of an exotic grassland banisher at the moment, but I'm working to get
anti-summoner. It's the fundamentals. All right, you're working on the fundamentals.
All I gotta do is figure out
Someone say the
round, and we're set.
Yeah, they call it the atomics.
If you're gonna learn to draw, you have to learn how to erase first. That's
that's what I keep on telling my kids.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to cast Revealing Steam. It is my one spell that is prepared. And to do that, I make an attribute test.
Mm-hmm.
Add the spells level to the roll. So, okay, normally I would have started with spells of levels 1 and 2, but I can only prepare first level spells. So I'm assuming this, like, we don't really have levels for all these.
No.
Should I just kind of assign a level to them, or?
Yeah, maybe the level can be the difficulty if you feel like any of these are super powerful or whatever.
Yeah, so if you assign a level, here's how, just building off what Adam's saying there. If you assign a spell to like a level 2, then that sort of it basically gives you better effect on when you cast a spell. So maybe instead of a disadvantage, it's a straight dice because you're like, well, I'm casting at level whatever.
Okay, cool.
Right.
And I can decide that at like casting time, basically?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. That works for me. This seems like a loosey-goosey enough game that I think that'll be perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, like the black hack, not how we play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Strictly by the book here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. So I am making.
Or should I say surface dwellers?
This is just the first level of Revealing Steam, which I think mostly reveals like fairly strong and obvious magical effects. Like I'm imagining the kinds of things that we might see here are like we might see connections between the stones, kind of like you'd see lasers going through steam, or we might see like kind
Yeah.
of holograms of where the magic is through the steam. That's the kind of stuff I'm expecting. So
Yeah,
relatively mundane. It's not going to be like, it's not going to reveal a ton.
No, this is amazing. Revealing steam is literally like the spray stuff spies used for like entrapment, where you like see the laser lines.
Exactly.
That's exactly what it is. That's exactly
Yeah.
what you see with the stones, is that you see, and then like it reveals from that which was, there we go. I can say words. That which was
We're here for you.
bound by your soul, in the sort of soul-powered warp web. The lines reveal themselves to you, and you can see branching off in sort of a 45-degree angle in two different directions, two different colored lines, a red one and a green one. Just going off until the steam can't go anymore, right? Because I imagine you're sort of doing it around. I imagine it's not necessarily like an incense sensor, but it's like, it's like a, I don't know, is it a tea kettle? You can tell me what it is, but in general, like, you can see these lines now, and you all can see them, right? Or is it just you?
No, I think everybody can. I think it literally like reveals them, and I think the material component here is basically like a Bunsen burner almost. It's like a little like vial of something that like I'm carrying around and holding, like
an Erlenmeyer flask, and you're just like holding it around, and it's just like the reaction reveals it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, love it. Cool. Yeah.
A lot of the spell then is really interpreting the lines that you end up seeing at the end.
Yeah, so like I think this spell at this level mostly just does the basic revealing, and it's up to you to interpret it. I think the higher levels that someday I may be able to cast will do like more. They may like reveal more of the purpose and stuff. Yeah, let's. Oh no, I lost.
So there's connections to the stones.
Nice.
You can see them. Maybe you can follow them or not.
Are the connect? So
they
like,
might not lead you to food, but they might lead you to adventure.
Do all the connections look basically the same?
Red and green, right?
Besides the colors, yes.
Oh yeah, okay, colors. Okay.
You don't know if green's good or red's bad with the spell. You just know that there are clearly two different reactions going on.
Are there any obvious like directions that more connections go to? Like, is there some like nexus that everything seems to like kind of condense towards? Or?
No. I imagine this only shows you the connections from this particular stone, and you can see on a 45-degree angle, there's two different directions, like laser beams pointing off from this off into the grasslands. They like seem to just go. You can't see the other stones from where you're at right now, but ostensibly the spell will tell you they're connected to other stones, kind of like Wi-Fi forwarder things, right? It's the warp web connections that you're seeing.
Okay. So for me, we have a stone with a known bad thing going on. Maybe if we took a look at that and try to compare what its lines look like.
So far, I can still cast that spell again. So
I should have asked you to cast a spell.
I mean, I think the way that it, according to the rule here, you cast the spell and then afterwards you roll to see if you can still keep on casting it.
To see how bad it is.
No, I think you have to cast to make it too.
Okay.
Once the effects are resolved.
We were doing that for everybody before.
Yeah, we were so used to rolling to cast. It's your fault, Sage. Your game.
Because that's how it misfires and spells. Yeah. Yes, Sage.
I mean, we were kind of basically playing it as Dungeon World, but the way that it's actually written is that the casting of the spell just happens, and then you roll to see if you keep it.
Then how do you misfire?
If you already cast, then you disadvantage.
If they fail the spell or prayer is no longer memorized, there's no like critical. I mean, this is kind of less interesting the way we're doing it, to be perfectly honest.
The wizard cast does not have a misfire. As written, the wizard cast has no misfire.
Where did we get the misfires from?
Because we wanted to play a cooler game.
No, I want to say I tried to look it up to argue it, and I actually find a line later that said I was fully prepared to be like, we've been playing this wrong. I'll go through the book and see where I found it.
Yeah,
but notice how I never brought that up though, because I found a line that I was like, ooh, this. I would not be in the right if I brought this. Let me see if I can find it. Because
it's the same way.
Okay, so
I was fully prepared.
Hold on, you're just blowing my mind right now. What is going on? What is this game? What have we played the whole time?
When turns are being tracked using minutes, a spellcaster may spend an action to attempt to cast a spell or prayer by reading it from the book or scroll. To do so, so the attribute test is if you cast it by reading from a book or scroll, I believe. So I think I found the line that you were talking about.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
about 50.
super clearly worded, but
That's
I
very-
believe
yeah.
that part is load bearing.
It's
and if they fail, it misfires. So page 15, there's casting spells. There's one paragraph that's about casting memorized ones and one.
It's the classic like D&D use magic device kind of thing. Yeah, I got you. Cool.
I mean, honestly, I'm fine keeping it. Like, I forgot the way we used to do it, and it was just going straight to the book. I'm fine doing the more interesting version where my spells can misfire. But
as a counterpoint, take a look at the amount of dead or wounded or heavily mutated characters that we have, and Vesh would like to have a friend that stays for a few more than
fair point.
half a dozen sessions. So
here's some, what I would say is, I think you are the sole expert as the exotic wasteland summoner. I think you would know the points better than I do about the fineries and misfiring calculations of your probability density functions.
And I think we can always say that probability density functions work fundamentally differently than straight up, your
you only misfire if you don't observe the spell. If you're looking at it, it always condenses into a proper spell. There you go. All right. How do you feel about that?
I think that's perfect.
That is the uncertainty principle of the spell casting. Okay. As long as you're observing the spell being cast.
Fired and didn't fire.
Oh, yeah, I like it. Okay. At some point, I may take advantage of that and try to do an unwatched.
I close my eyes and cast the spell. An heat wave function.
It's actually more important than that because I have to get everybody around to close their eyes because if anybody can observe it, it's still anyway. This is great. I love it.
Good way. It's a good. I can't wait for the use of banishing snow that way.
Yep. With my eyes closed and everybody's eyes closed.
Close your eyes. What are you talking about? Just do it. It'd be amazing.
All right. Anyways, if you can't see me.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Oh my gosh, that's how you cast invisibility. It has to be in a quantum state. Okay. So yes, for the moment, I still have the spell, and if we need to cast this again somewhere, we definitely can. I think this tells us at least some directions we might go to find the next stones on, and see if we can figure out something from there.
So, food, stones.
Oh, good point.
New place to go, keep adventuring, finding different locations here, all up to us. Totally open.
Of the two directions that we see these things coming out of, are we seeing
they're not further towards or away from other spots. This is just all in the serpent stones. Okay. Yeah, this is just exploring the area that is the serpent stones.
Lauren, if you're still around at all, this is an excellent sheet, and I really appreciate you doing it. So yeah, if you folks think that doing it at the other stone, just so that we could see if maybe there are two red lines, maybe one of its lines goes towards something that we care about. Maybe there's a right angle thing going on. Like, if you think it'd be useful, I feel like that'd be fun, but I don't want to send us off on a wild investigation chase for something that might not be.
I mean, I think the one thing that we have to think about is where to get food. Do we get food next, or do we?
We have one more week of supplies.
Oh, okay. If we want one more week of supplies, then let's mess around these stones for a while.
Yeah, we burn that candle at both ends, man.
Yeah, right. You're still within the quote unquote week, right? So you don't have to worry about that until you burn up 7 days.
Yep.
Cool. So do you want to explore the green line or the red line, or just go off neither?
So the proposal is that we go to where Herodotus died, because
that's where you were at.
That is. Oh, that's where we were at. So we know that one has a red and a green. We know which way they're pointed.
Correct. That's what I imagined in my head.
Some weird way around Herodotus's body or anything like that.
Okay, so then I think, I don't know that there's a strong reason to do one or the other of these at this point. I almost think we're in flip a coin territory.
Yeah. I don't think your characters really know too much of a differential here.
Umberto, what's your favorite color?
Yellow.
Yeah, you're a saffron. You're yellow.
You're the worst. That's
I
not helpful
am.
at all.
Because I see them running. I also like orange.
Orange. That's close to red. Let's do it.
Okay, you can follow the red one.
Yep.
Sure.
Awesome. Yep. Okay. You guys march for about 2 days, or maybe about 1.5 days. You begin to smell. The first thing that comes up is the smell. It's the smell of iron. And you begin to taste iron in your mouth as well, or the smell and taste of blood. And as you continue down, you can see that there is definitely a white stone up ahead. All around it is the white pale grass is red. You can see that there are several vultures with red heads sitting on top of it. This is definitely the source of the smell and taste that you are sensating this marker. It's probably not good.
How many vultures
Something's
are we
wrong with
talking?
it. There's like 2 sitting on it right now, and maybe there's like 3 more up in the air.
Thoughts, plans.
Rochambeau.
I mean, I could try casting the spell again. We could get more information around here.
You think you can do it at this distance? I feel like that steam, you had to hold it like right next to the stone, right?
I mean, I'm wondering if we like walk a perimeter at this distance, do we find other lines?
Oh, an edge line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
That requires spellcast.
Done, because he doesn't have to roll.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely cast. It's do I get to cast it again next time?
Right.
Which I will figure out while we cast this and walk around.
Right. So you
Oh, and I think I take a penalty because I've already cast it this session.
So let me bring open the. Why is it showing like my screen? It was working fine. Okay, 1 second. I don't know why it's not showing Roll20.
It's Lindy's fault for raiding
Lindy.
the chat.
That's right.
Lindy, why did you do that?
We only work if nobody's watching. I think that's how we were discussing this.
Wow. Even with a disadvantage
There we
from having already cast it this session, I still succeed. I can keep on burning my Bunsen at both ends.
Awesome. Okay, so
You
you're
should see a
burning.
doctor if your Bunsen burns at both ends for more than 6 hours.
You absolutely should. So here's kind of like what it looks like in my head. Here's the original stone. This is the redstone you're going to.
You got to move us to the
Pull
map.
us. Yeah, pull us to the map.
I gotta pull us to the map. I'm just showing everybody off screen. And you're all just like going dot, 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 dot. And just going away from it now. You're like,
Almost.
nope. and just with Fermi in the front, using the Bunsen burner, looking around, hoping to run into a line. And since you're hoping to run into a line here, this seems like the perfect time to ask for a charisma check.
I'll do it.
No, it's Fermi.
No.
Okay.
Fermi's the one holding the beaker of revealing.
How did you know my charisma was 5?
It's a luck check.
Yeah.
Okay.
I probably should have. Oh no, I wanted my intelligence. Anyway.
Yeah. So you do find a line, but it seems to be either like more dark red, and when you find it, it's all of the buzzards kind of get up and like fly around as they see that you see that line, like there's some sort of connection.
Ooh.
I mean, so these are.
There's a faint earthquake beneath you all, like a faint tremble when that happens.
I'm sure it's fine. These are buzzards. They're carrion feeders, right?
Yeah.
Buzzards are still carrion feeders in this.
So they're assuming something else will kill us.
Yeah.
Hey.
I would be worried about something else more for sure. Are all of them off the ground in the rock? All of them in the air?
They all took off a few seconds before the trumbers. Like they almost they anticipated it.
So something underground.
That can't be
I
right.
suppose you have a flying torrent of water or something for me.
I only have 1 spell prepared because I'm first level.
It's not gonna reveal a way for us to fly, I guess.
I mean, Oh, that's probably what that spell does.
You were keeping it a surprise, I know.
No, I mean, I can tell you this one because it is the most straightforward spell I know. Water bubble.
Oh, yes.
Which just seems way too straightforward to be a spell, but I think you must fly in it.
I think maybe we book it over to the rock and assume that whatever it is isn't going to swallow the rock. And if we can get on top, maybe that's okay. Thoughts? Or do you think the red grass is probably a bad sign?
Yeah, I think that we're all right trying to get across it.
Red grass at night.
Sandler's Delight, right?
Sanders Delight, yeah.
Role playing. So we book it toward the rock.
Sure. How long are you gonna hang out here?
On top of the rock until the buzzards land, or at least
Yeah.
one of them.
So for everyone's kind of idea here, this rock is not quite a rock. It looks more like a bone. It's white,
Tooth?
very white, or a tooth. Yeah, it's very calcified. Kind of, maybe it's like, it has sort of that color and notches in it like bone or limestone would. It seems to be just jutting down into the ground. Kind of like a piece of like it's sort of like an eye column, but it has a sort of like texture where it gets kind of wavy in the middle and top parts a little bit wider. And it just seems to be you can see sort of around it, it's like inside the holes and stuff like that, it seems to be stained with this dark red substance that sort of also stained the ground around it. It smells heavily of blood here. If you're all going to crash and like hide around it, I think you all need to make some constitution checks because it's really pungent. It's very strong.
Any second thoughts?
None.
I mean,
a lot.
Unberative fears no sour smells.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna get sick if we get any closer to it. As we get closer, I'm like, this is probably a terrible idea.
Wasteland summoners are made of, or grassland summoners are made of firmer or sterner stuff.
Yeah. Advantage for you, Fermi.
Oh, I mean, I was just going by the fact that I have a slightly better than average constitution, but yeah, sure.
That makes perfect sense. You're around weird elements that smell all the time.
Sure.
You're like, this is fine with me.
That was with advantage.
17.
That was with advantage.
Yep.
Oh, because otherwise it would have been a critical. Yeah.
It would have been a critical failure. It wouldn't be the UVG if it wasn't for Sage critical failing.
Sorry, Bash.
So we none of us can stand the smell of this.
No.
No.
If you stay here, you all will get sick and have disadvantage on anything you do around it, as you're just like, you can't, you're like, the whole time here.
Black Heck doesn't have double disadvantage though, right?
No.
So I mean, might as well cast a spell.
You definitely have disadvantage casting a spell around it.
He's already got disadvantage.
Yeah, I've already got a disadvantage because if I've already cast the spell once this session, then I have disadvantage on future attempts, so that eventually, hopefully, I lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't have double disadvantage. I could cast Revealing Steam again and see what we find, but I'm not sure it actually gets as much.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that begins to take root the closer you come to here, the soil seems to, I'm not sure what the word is other than churn a little bit underneath your feet, like around the grass stems. And then second of all, this piece of rock is definitely magnetic. You feel that sort of pull by anything metal that you have. It starts to get the closer you get to the rock, it seems to go that way. All these things are definitely hooks that you could be like, I think I know something about this. Can I make an in check or anything like that? Totally cool. If you don't, then don't worry about it.
I don't think I do. Fermi would know about the elements.
Yeah, I probably know about the I'm trying to think of which aspect here. Probably the magnetism, because that's a relatively real physical force.
Yeah.
It is a real physical force.
I mean,
mean,
how do they work, man?
yeah.
You're the only one who knows.
I think that's probably the part of it. Yeah, the magnetism here. I'm guessing there's something else up with that. So I'm going to go ahead and see what I know about that.
Mm-hmm. Great.
No.
Okay. So here's what you know. Because it's not that you don't know what's wrong. You just know things that are half right.
Okay.
You know that this place can empower spells. You know magnets are foci for spells.
Okay.
If you you know it would probably be you don't exactly know how this one works here, but you know how this magnetism, whatever is causing this magnetism, if you could figure out what it is, you could use it to help augment your spells, and you would have more potent spell casting while you can leverage the stone.
Yeah, but considering that the stone smells, I don't think we want to be around it for very long.
Right?
Pros and cons of that decision for sure. Do we have any idea to Amberta and Fermi? Do we have any idea of a direction that we could go? Maybe just keep heading the direction we were coming and bypass, or
I mean, we could always kind of circle around and look for connections again with my revealing steam.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's probably the best option we have at the moment. And then if we run out of options there, then we probably start thinking about food instead of stones.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Humbert is, dropped from a wisdom of 12 to 7 and is singing like, well, we're forgetting the Z-axis. We could build a tower to heaven, be with Herodotus again. And just kind of like going off philosophically.
If Herodotus wasn't in the stones. Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and cast that spell and then see if I can keep on casting it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Near this marker.
I finally lost it.
Okay. Well, near this marker, there is definitely a connection, unlike the other ones. You notice there are a few from here. This place is not quite a nexus, but it's definitely a node with several points to and from it. It has a yellow one, a blue one, a purple one, but one stands out almost twice as strong and twice as big as another one, and it's the color of emerald. It's the first one you've seen that's metallic rather than just a basic chromatic green, like 255 all the way up. This one is it's multi-dimensional, sparkling. It seems to slightly flow and change its colors. Whatever this line is very powerful.
I think that's the one we want to take.
Yes. Vesh, you know something about that line.
I do. I should roll intelligence to see what I know about that line.
Well,
it sparkles like gemstones.
You don't have to roll, because this is part of one of your backgrounds and one of your goals.
One of my many, many backgrounds.
Yes.
My black gold industrialist, or maybe my independent freehold archaeologist.
That one, the freehold archaeologist. The reason why we were coming to the Serpent Stones in the first place.
That's right. That.
The eternal snaking marker is the theories that you have read indicate that an emerald force emanates from this stone, and so that if you can, an emerald force, where's the stone?
I think we're in.
Okay.
I think we head with that line with a little bit more confidence.
Right.
For sure.
And for those who don't remember, we're searching for the eye of the serpent of the stars and sun.
That's right.
Okay.
I usually write all this stuff down, and I missed it.
No, it's all good. Cool.
And it's such a good setting.
It's quite okay. You guys end up traveling what seems to be twice as long what you already gone here. So you're about 4.5 days out from where once you started from Herodotus's grave. Is probably the easiest way of describing that stone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's when you see there is a gentle like jade. What do you call the thing that's like a T shape, like Stonehenge is made out of them? That thing.
Hinge.
A henge. Yeah, it's a henge. Yeah, like 2 stones with another stone on top of it. They're all made out of jade.
Okay. I'm all out of spells to help us approach this safely. So
Furthermore, around here there seems to be the trash detritus of maybe like kind of like a festival of some kind. I like the day after Woodstock. Like there seems to be a lot of just cut bits of cloth around, bones. You find a fork in the ground. Just a lot of just random things the closer you get to this stone. Bits of appear to be like bits of food that have gone absolutely bad, weeks and months old. Perhaps they have started growing some mushrooms off of them.
Is this also magnetism for me?
No. Can we tell at all, like, does this just look like the trash that's left over afterwards, or does it seem like the oddly spontaneously left trash of the walking into a house and there's like a half-eaten meal on the table? Like, does this look like everybody just disappeared, or like they had a big party and then just kind of cleared out and didn't clean up?
The latter. Okay. Looks like nobody cleaned up a party that happened maybe weeks ago, months ago.
Okay, that's less freaky.
I mean, it's still pretty freaky.
I mean, yes. Don't get me wrong. It's just degrees of freaky.
Can we? And we don't have the spell anymore.
We don't have the spell. I mean, we could try to make camp, and I can prepare new spells.
It did take us a couple days to get here. I assume we slept on the way, right?
Oh, that's a good point. You said that it was like
you've been out 4 days.
Okay, so then I should have that spell again.
Yes.
Okay. So then I could cast it again. if I would definitely prepare that again. That seems like the most reasonable thing to prepare. So yeah, I think as we approach this, from about the same distance that we
hit the first one, yeah.
Past, yeah. Because we know about how many to expect there, and we're calibrated. So yeah, I'll go ahead and cast Revealing Steam again. And this is now a normal check because I haven't cast, or no, it actually says per session, I think, not per day. That's spelled this session. Okay.
It says don't be boring, Sage.
Yeah, it's an anti-spam spell. Huh. I have design thoughts about that. Okay.
Well, okay. I was going to ask you, what is your intention of casting this spell?
I think we're looking this seems like an obviously different kind of stone. So I think we're looking for does it only have these emerald edges going into the jade stone? And then with all this weird detritus around, is there any other trace stuff that we're going to find as we circle? I think those are the two main things that I'm looking for. Anybody else have any?
The emerald one, hoping to find a connection that it came in, just some kind of confirmation that that's a thing, and then at least one other line coming out, unless this is the final destination, effectively.
Oh, that would also be interesting. If we only found this one line coming in, that would be super weird. Yeah. So we're trying to get an idea of how many other edges in and out there are. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the intention. Okay. And you can cast a spell, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So here's what happens.
And I immediately lose it. So this is the only time we're doing this.
Good. A few things happen as you cast the spell. Yes, there is only one line leading here, and it's like a fire hose of green emerald energy leading from here. But you can see that this line doesn't necessarily go into the stone. This one seems to go around the stone, or even worse, it can't actually enter the stone, which is probably the most interesting part of the revealing steam here from that. The second part, though, that is also very interesting, is that your revealing steam is revealing more than what it normally would. the mist coalesces into shapes of people who seem to be around the stone, sort of like praying to it. You see a lot of gestures of like, hands up, on people on their knees, a lot of bowing, of different shapes, different hats, headwears, praying to the stone. And as that slowly then kind of the steam evaporates and dissolves around as the silhouettes fade back into the ether.
So you certainly had interesting time sleeping next to one of these before. Whether or not we want to take that risk again.
If I'm not losing another character to sleep in next to these things.
Same thing.
Okay.
Okay. I think it's really interesting that the revealing steam is revealing the shapes of people praying here, because that means that this was something like more impactful. Like presumably lots of people have walked around the other stones. We didn't see like Herodotus around the first stone or whatever.
Right.
So like there's something going on here. However, I'm not all that sure what it is.
Is it at all translucent, or does it look like an emerald or whatever? Maybe I missed your stone description. I caught a bunch of the detritus stuff.
It's
the
jade, like Stonehenge, like one of the single bits of Stonehenge.
That's
like
right.
the T shape, but made out of jade.
Yeah. And there's nothing around that feels like an entrance to below or anything like that. If we go around and search and whatever.
Well, I mean, no. You can feel free to look around.
We definitely look around.
Sure.
Well, I definitely look around.
Yeah.
Okay. Vesh, while you were looking around, you do not find any sort of entrance or any sort of like hatch or anything like that. However, like kicking through some of the trash and things around here, you come upon some sort of like a toy sword. Because you think it's a toy, it's entirely made out of wood.
Sure. All of my weapons are non-metal, so I'm all in on this.
Well, then this seems perfect for you. Like it's like it was like underneath. It was like underneath some like bits of like maybe like as like a magazine or like a newspaper or like a poster, right? That's been like lost to the elements. And you kind of kick that off. You're like, what is this? Because it kind of looks like a hatch in some kind of way, but instead, no. It's a short sword.
Nice.
Underneath the flyers for stone stock.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, it has a jade pommel, like inlaid into it. You want to pick it up?
Oh, that's a terrible question from a DM.
Well, you're adding it to your inventory. So.
I am absolutely adding it to my inventory.
Yeah,
I pick it up if only to look at it, but I'm very careful as a thief.
Yeah.
And it seems like a delicate task.
Sure. Yeah.
To pick up a potentially dangerous looking, not dangerous weapon.
That's fine. Nothing happens when you pick it up. It
Yet.
No. You think there's something more to this sword than meets the eye, but you just probably, unless you know anything about wooden swords and jade or anybody about it, if you wanted to analyze it more, you might know what its effects are.
It's not an archaeological artifact or anything. How long has it been sitting here, I guess?
No. It's not an archaeological artifact, but it's certainly something of note.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything about magic or whatever.
Right. Yeah, and then this isn't your expertise, then you don't know yet.
Yeah. Does it feel
Berta
weird
probably
at
knows
all?
what it is, though.
Well,
yeah, the question is what I ask.
Oh, did you fall asleep near the stone?
We have not fallen asleep yet.
No, not this one.
Oh.
Berta fell asleep near a stone.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Only barely made it out.
Barely. Yeah.
No. If you didn't Vesh, then you have no idea.
Okay, cool.
But Amberta, being a scavenger, might know a little bit more too.
Amberta, I'm not exactly being secret about picking this thing up. You probably at least catch the glint of the jade.
I watch Vesh's every move.
Yeah. I imagine this sort of like scene shot is sort of like something kind of like a field in England where like there's like this big huge jade thing in the middle, but you're all little like kind of dots sort of around it, and you're like shouting like, "Hey, hey, look at this, you know. And it's like just it's like imagine this very vast, very almost like desolate kind of grassland place, right? Of these just this tall grass, and there's all this kind of trash around, and so you're rummaging around. You're like, hey, over here, you know, and you're getting people's attention. It's not like you're all just walking in a trio, right? Like it's much wider than this. So it's this huge shot, and yes, so you know you call him over, and you can see with like clearly, Umberta, you know what this is.
Yeah, and Berta, this is a kind of a weird handle to put on a toy sword, don't you think? And I hand it.
Yeah.
Well,
This, Umberta, you've seen these before, scavengers. You've heard that some of the best scavengers carry a dagger or something like this made out of wood with a jade pommel. You know that this does damage to ultras in a way that normal weapons don't. So like ghosts and stuff, it hurts ghosts.
yeah. A legend is sung
It's
when the grasslands were young. And
it's a ba hardened wooden short sword.
hardened
Yeah,
wooden short sword.
It's hardened against souls.
And Berta, I feel like you could probably use this better than I could.
Well,
It
it depends how dedicated you are to your craft.
I'm all about ranged weapons. I can take aim. I can't. My swinging ability is pretty poor.
It does double damage against ghosts.
Well, I'll hold on to it.
Appreciate it. Just make sure you write it down.
Yeah, gotta add that. A hardened short sword.
Vesh, as an appraiser of like, oh, a magic sword that hurts somebody, you know that it's probably, you could probably get somewhere like 60, 75 for it. You know?
Yeah, that's a few days of supplies.
Yeah.
But
This isn't like the only sword that does this, right? It's
Right.
just, this is a, you know, this is just a kind of a niche tool that somebody would
Sure.
have.
that's cool. Something, but not something that somebody would just leave on the ground. That's the other trick, right? Is the mess
right.
around here a mess that people left and then they left, or is the mess around here a mess that people left because they weren't here to pick it back up?
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
I checked for footprints in a battle like Humperdinck would.
Yes. You check. There were 6 men. They attacked this way. One of them.
Back and forth with a sword.
I always
Yeah.
expect a trap. That's right.
No, it's perfect. Go ahead and give me a wisdom check there, Umberta.
Sure.
You're recreating this scene to get an idea of what happened.
Well, I flat out failed. And I'm like, giants killed them all.
You can tell by the normal-sized footprints; it was obviously giants.
No,
The giants
numbers
reached
by
from the
wearing-
clouds and they held down little people and swatted
all right.
the living with them.
Yeah. And as you're telling this story, right, and you're like, oh, there's these big giants, and there's it happening, you end up slipping, and you fall into a patch of mushrooms, and you hear the little poof around you, and you immediately try to hold your breath.
Oh yeah.
Can you make
How
a Constitution
long
save
can-
for me?
Yeah, I can. I succeeded.
Whew.
It's my first success of the evening.
Okay. So, well, too bad you still inhaled a little bit, but it's not addictive. It's catnip.
Ooh.
So everyone, like, you know, there's a pause, and immediately, Umberto, your eyes go real big, your pupils dilate, you know, and you just get super energetic. You're basically on haste, like you're hasted right now.
Ooh. All right. I pull out my
Wow,
little
you're ready to go.
ghost-slaying sword and I go.
Yeah. So all of a sudden you start retelling the story, like, anyways, and and everyone else is like, and you've never seen Umberto talk this fast before or act so this fast. They're going.
It's out of character.
She is super excited. Everything about her is just just exuberant, right? It's just totally joyful and just fast, bolsterous. Yeah, it's a great story. Yeah.
I tell it so well.
Yeah, you took an epic dose. Catnip.
Well, if the giants took them out, I'm not sure if there's much that we have to worry about except for looking up in the air for the giants, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Forward, backward, inward, outward. Come enjoy the chase. Nothing could be drier than a jolly caucus race. And I just start like dancing around. It's gonna keep y'all dry. I'm like, it's an Alice in Wonderland reference, but I'm gonna try and keep the dodo dry. Anyway.
No, I got you, Grant. I was picking up what you were putting down.
Yeah. Fair me.
Yeah.
You've been studying the stones, studying the steam.
I'm I'm definitely not getting any closer to everything Umberta's been in.
No.
No, like, so at this point, we seem to have gotten a little off track here with the sword and the like. I think Fermi's kind of like, are we not moving on, companions? Like, can we stop playing in the? It wasn't catnip. Cat
Snip.
Cat snip. Can we stop playing in the cat snip and move along with our mission, please? I think that's how he comes in.
All right. No need to raise your voice at me, Dad. Parent, your news.
So do we want to end up sleeping near here, or do we want, like, what time is it, Eric? Is it getting close to?
Oh yeah, we're probably close to.
Sun's getting real low, fellas. No.
Yeah, so how far away do we want to get before we take a break? Is the big deal, because like I'd like to hopefully look around here a little bit more, because as far as I'm concerned, the mission is to investigate the area around the stone itself.
Yeah.
See what we can find as far as artifacts and history and that kind of thing. So this
you've investigated around.
I point over at Umberta, who's just waving the sword around. I'm like, that's part of my investigation. We're doing the mission right now.
This is proper science.
Legit, man. Absolutely. But I wouldn't want to stay here, considering what it did to my friends. So unless we're feeling super brave, maybe we should camp somewhere a little farther away.
I think we should probably go further away.
All right.
Okay.
As far as we can go, as Umberto starts running.
Running all the way back to the other stone.
If you all say so.
We want a safe place. How far away is safe? We don't really know.
Sure. I mean, till it's just off in the distance. You know, you're not close. You think this is safe?
We can still see it on the horizon.
I'm not going to punish you here or make a roll. You're safe enough. Yeah. Right.
What a nice guy.
Oh.
Yeah, you're good.
Maybe you should prepare a different spell then.
Yeah, I probably should.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's plenty more random mushrooms kind of growing here and there.
Yeah, not man-made, I don't think so. Not as interesting
Yeah. No one's really studied the jade. No one's really studied the line, you know, the emerald line. We've all just been kind of looking around for what else is here.
Yeah, I was definitely looking on the ground.
If I tried to knock over the jade thing without getting close to it, how would we feel about this idea? I have a spell that might be able to help.
I'd be okay with it.
See what happens when
yeah,
I'm okay.
I mean, we launched a missile at a city. I think we can.
Okay, then I will prepare rain beam, which I think is basically like a high pressure hose, like
like fire hose.
It's a beam of rain.
Yeah, it's a fire hose. Exactly. It's like the and so yeah,
pressure washer.
Oh gosh,
at
least better than a pressure washer.
Up at least.
Yeah. So yeah, my plan is to try and do this from a ways back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
like fire the rain beam at the jade
one of
T
the
or whatever we're
pillars.
calling it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The top one or the one of the pillars so it all collapses, or how are you doing it?
I think I'm trying for kind of maximum knockdown here to see how much it throws off the entire matrix.
Sure.
That seems like a very scientific thing to do.
Sure. Yep.
Excellent.
Use your matrix knowledge. Yes.
Yeah. I can read the code. I see the matrix. So
jade, wood.
I think this is probably the kind of spell where like casting it gets me the beam, but I still probably have to make a roll to use it well to knock it over. I'm thinking.
Yeah. Here's the question: are you letting other people know this is the plan? Like when you're like talking at night about this?
I think that's probably what we like talk it over and.
I like the idea. I'm not saying this is what happens, but I in my head I envision Fermi as like, you know, Vesh is probably like going to bed. And Berta's like kicking the last bits of the fire camp embers, you know, thinking about stuff, coming down from the and a little drowsy from the cat snip stuff. And you're like, hey Vesh, well, think about this model here. Do you think this would work if I did this way? And you're like showing someone like a snippet of code. And you're like, do you think this would work if I did it this way? And you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Hold on, no, wait. And you just go back and like, wait a second. Well, what if I did this way? And you just keep bothering them like an hour after like they fell asleep again. Like, oh, I think finally I can sleep.
Yeah, that's absolutely how it's going.
So is Fermi's spellbook like Archimedes' journal or something, or Da Vinci's like invention book, where it's all of the ideas are in there, but only a few of them are actually spells that you've figured out?
Exactly.
There's this, no, I love it. Hold on. I love the idea that there's a lot of stuff that's written. If you don't mind, again, I don't want to describe.
No, throw it out there. I'm probably okay with it.
Love the idea. You know, there's a bunch of like great equations and things in it. A lot of like second order differential equation stuff, and then of course there's some sort of like Fermat's last theorem. That's the spell you know, where it's like this is it. It's in the margins. This is trivial.
I have an excellent proof for a fireball, but I don't have enough space to write it right here.
Anyways, it's trivial.
I think that's like 90% of it is these like
math jokes.
Obviously, the final step here, the like I have a wonderful execution for this spell, but there's not enough space in the margin kind of stuff. Like,
Totally.
Exactly. Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Excellent.
I'm glad I play with y'all. We can make these
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of notes that say like the casting of this spell is an exercise left to the reader kind of stuff. Like,
is it an old spell book from like a class that you took, so that it's got exercises and whatever through it, old style textbook?
Yeah.
Oh, it might be. Yeah.
So it's just, there are things in there that are like this spell left to the reader for sure, and you're like, I'm still working on this one.
Yeah.
It's like introductory hydrodynamics or something.
No, it's like the possibly apocryphal story about I forget which mathematician it did, but like the proof of the sum of the first n natural numbers is like
Euclid,
you walked in and it's a lot of stuff, exercises like that where there maybe it was actually meant to be like an open problem, but he's like, I'm sure that I can solve this. Like
totally, yes.
Yeah.
That's how you learn how to cast spells, everybody.
The entire thing. Oh, we were gonna have so many math jokes now that I'm realizing that his spell book is basically a mathematical textbook.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm here for it.
All right. So anyways, so there's bits of night this is going on. And Berta, how are you feeling now? You're not penalized or anything by the drugs.
No,
But your euphoria has declined.
I'm not addicted. It's declined, and I'm starting to refocus back to my my holier mission to purge this world of the plague that claimed the life of my son. And I only got a little bit of treating, and most of that I left at our burial site for our marker. There was no real burial. I don't think. We just made a shrine to Herodotus. And I start to think back to Vesh, and I go, Vesh, what must we do to uncover the black gold that you seek? If you're still seeking it, You've changed your ways many times.
Black gold was just a cover for this mission that we're currently on. I was looking for an excuse to get out into the wilderness, far away from all the other people that might listen in to my plans. And now that we are here, and my close friends and a wizard that we just met a few minutes ago, I can tell you that we are looking for interesting archaeological artifacts around the Serpent Stone. I've heard they must be here.
More interesting than this. And I hold up the short sword.
Isn't that just a child's toy?
No. It is a great and powerful artifact used to destroy ultras. And if you hold it in the moonlight like this, runes appear. No, it's a... And I go, no, it is not a child's toy. It is an ultra slaying machine. However, yeah, go ahead.
Can I add something to this?
Yes.
There's experimentations going on off Vermeer's tent, and some of the revealing smoke has come off of it, and then, there's like an ambient line going off somewhere. If you don't mind, I feel like the way you show this is that for the first time, you can see if you put the sword into the line turns off. Like the line stops at the terminating point.
I like it. We're lucky.
And then you take it off and it goes back and connects again. That this is like, it's clearly soul powered. Yeah.
You're cutting the ley line.
You can.
Huh.
So I think we're gonna destroy some things.
But this,
I think that's the plan.
I
this
think
jade's
that's
made
the
out
plan.
of jade.
Fools, Jade.
Well, okay. Right. So let's knock it down. Right. It's the morning. No one else is here. Everyone's like, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Are you gonna need backup to hold the
Yeah, I'm thinking that this is like
beam?
I'm turning it all the way up, so this is like a fire hose kind of situation, and I need some other people to kind of keep me
from like launched back the other way? Brace you, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this like, again, you turn the beaker a certain way and that's how you do it? Or is this different? Or
I think this one's definitely cast differently. How do I get the rain beam? I think it involves like some it's like the flask with like a little drip on the bottom for titrating things, but like there's a very certain like timing to it, and then like it slowly like ramps up to the point that instead of like drips coming out, like if you hit just the rhythm, it like turns into a jet of water. And so like this little thing that only should have like this much water in it is somehow like spewing like a fire hose, and we have to like all hold it together. And yeah.
Oh, I love that. Sure. So then I need one of you, two, Emberta or Vesh, the one who thinks is doing most of the bracing here, to roll with advantage to keep them, because you're helping the other person help them keep Jeremy braced as they cast the spell.
Yeah, I feel like you're gonna brace. Okay, Emberta's got it.
Okay, you're all bound by the failures, but yeah.
Yeah, we're all helping.
Success. Okay, the helping is working. It's working, and
don't cross the
can
beams.
you do I think just do an intelligence check, Paige?
Okay.
To
to
show how to appropriately apply the force.
Oh no.
Okay. So good news and bad news. The bad news is that you succeed, I should say that yet. Actually, this is what happens, right? With the failure is that you don't get it exactly right now. What this looks like is that you need more power, which means that like it's you got it stabilized right now. You're hitting it. You saw the rock move a little bit. You're like, I need to give it a little bit more juice. But this is the upper bits of your spells. To really like to cast this again is going to require, do you want to go like kind of desperate here? Risk a misspell cast basically another in check, risk a misfire, as you channel as much energy as you can into this blast, and see what happens? Or do you turn it off at this point?
Oh no, of course I keep going.
Okay, yeah.
Like, have you met me?
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So another intelligence roll?
Can I make this a little bit more saucy?
Yeah, sure.
Can I offer you the suggestion? I actually don't think the intelligence roll is that interesting. I think the most interesting thing is that you have to literally cast it and it will misfire.
Oh, perfect.
You know,
yes,
like that this requires more juice, and that this is just what it requires.
Just turn it to 11.
But you have exactly. Break. It has to go to 11. It's gonna break, but it will succeed. Yeah. If you want it to, and you just eat it. Okay.
I'll go for the misfire, of course.
I was gonna say, do you want to make it 50-50 so it impacts me or him?
No, I think it's just the spell. I think it's the spellcaster here. That's a good point though. I like that. Okay. So let's look at the misfire rolls again. What? Remember the page?
Let's see.
Like magic and spells.
I don't know if it's right there.
Room generator. Dungeon, written tricks, hazards. No. Perhaps.
Where's my table?
D100 magic side effects?
Yeah.
Yes.
43.
Oh, it's way earlier in the book.
Yeah, I was starting from the back and working forward.
No, you have to feel the black hack, and it really wants you to just choose things at random. So I just opened to a random page in the book, and there it was. So
amazing.
So do I go ahead and put in the D100 roll?
Go ahead and see the let's see the result here.
D100. 92.
You always know where east is.
Of the things that could go wrong.
Yeah,
you always know the way back to the ultraviolet to the Violet City.
Oh yeah,
that is super useful.
Actually, should we mess with this a little bit? We always know where this stone is. Like that would be. I mean, east is fine as well, but like it could be kind of interesting if it was tied to this stone instead.
I'm cool with that. Or what's left of the stones as they get blasted.
Oh, good point.
Yeah. Where this site is of what transpires. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's
like a magnetism. Yeah.
True north.
It was magnets all along. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there is a moment of you blast this with as much power as you can ever get out of your what was it called?
Rain beam.
Rain beam. There's a crunch and crack as the stone buckles under the weight of the blast. Boom, crash, it goes down. And then there's a silence as like your spell kind of fizzles out. There's a gentle little rainbow where the mists were, and there seems to be nothing that's happened for a few moments. And then there's sort of this rise of magnetism as everyone's like metal objects kind of everywhere, even like some of the metallic trash around begins to sort of float up like gravity, it's like, and sort of gravitate towards where these broken stones are. And then there's a breeze, a very strong, forceful breeze that gets stronger and stronger. That seems to be blowing things towards the stones. Sorry to knock my microphone. And it just gets stronger and stronger until there's almost like a vortex, like a gentle vortex is forming there. And the vortex takes the shape of what might be something like the Dragon Ball Z dragon.
Ooh, Enron.
Yeah, like this very long, elegant snake-like worm comes out made of this air, and it just kind of gently purrs and stretches like it's been asleep for a long time. And it looks at you all as like it with its great smoky eyes, and there's like a snap as all of you go on a vision quest.
Woo!
And through this quest of traveling through time and space for a moment, you all arrive back where you were, And you all have learned a spell.
Nice.
All of us.
All of us. Everyone has learned a spell now.
A random spell, I hope.
A random spell. Yes.
I am so happy to hear this.
Everyone has learned a random spell. We're freeing the dragon.
Cast the random spell. No.
Should it be the should it all be the maze rat spells?
I so want.
I think so.
I think we all want the maze
Yeah.
rat spells. Okay. All right.
Is that a roll 2d6 twice?
I don't have maze rats open.
Sage, you just
So
had all
yeah,
that.
I still had the tab.
You're the
Okay,
element.
so you start out by rolling 2d6, which will give you the formula for it.
Go.
So I've got it open. If you tell me your rolls, I can. I need like the two numbers in order.
A 5,
I got
5.
I got a 5.
Okay, so Alberta is 1 and 4. So 1 and 4 is ethereal element and physical form, and you'll probably want to note this because we'll need to
Yeah,
get
let me
track
add
of
it
it.
to my sheet.
Yeah.
And then Adam, what did Vesh get?
5, 5 for Vesh.
5, 5 is ethereal effect and physical element.
Right.
So for each part, the two parts of your formula, I also need a 2d6 roll.
So,
All right.
for those at home, what this kind of looks like, by the way, like on the spirit journey, is this is like you are sucked into space and the celestial cosmology and the geometry of it all begins to bend and shape perfectly and harmoniously. And the spells that you're learning are the sort of elements and stars and planets and shapes that all coalesce and align in a certain pattern. And this is how you're learning it.
Awesome.
So Alberta, which
2,
part-
2.
Yeah, but what portion of your formula are you?
Element.
Ethereal element. So a 2/2 there is fire.
I want the physical element for 1, 2.
Physical element for 1/2 is amber.
I'm
Ooh.
already liking this spell.
But I'm Berta. And then my next one is 4/1 for
For
my
1, and what kind of thing is it?
physical form.
Physical form 4/1 horn.
Fire horn.
And then a 6, 4 ethereal effect.
6, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Warding.
Warding amber.
Amber warding, I believe, is actually
No way, man. It's my
like
spell.
Warding. Oh,
like
okay,
it.
warding amber. You cast it backwards, just like if you cast banishing snow backwards, it's summoning.
Oh, that's so
Warding
good.
amber just reads better to me.
Yeah.
And if you're
Warding
going to put
amber.
two random words together, you might as well put them together whichever order you want.
Right.
If that's okay with you, Eric.
Warding amber of warding is fine with me. Amber wards is fine. You're gonna be the one who comes up with the creative solutions to how to use these spells.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I think though, I think it's fair to say that these spells, these particular ones, are probably cast with wisdom.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, and I have to roll one for myself.
Yes.
For me, will this one still be a wisdom spell?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it's because you were the one who knocked over the stones, and as the gift of this creature, as its reward, it sort of sees your glimpse and your cosmic truth, and presents these things to you and your companions in a way that makes sense to you. So I let you have to roll.
Nice.
But to the two uninitiated in the higher cosmic maths, it's wisdom.
Shame I can't make it a dexterity spell. That'd be
No.
nice.
Cool. Tell us narrate to us what you got.
I've got slime something.
You got a 3/5, which is
Oh, sorry, that is a physical element, physical effect. And slime is nicely still in kind of my waterish wheelhouse. And then for the effect,
6 and a 2.
shape shifting, slime shape shifting.
Still a water swamp spell, man.
Yep.
Absolutely. It was very tuned to you.
Yeah. As my friend Dan likes to refer to them, I think I may be making a pudding mancer, who understands oozes. Yeah, slime shape shifting. This is amazing.
Yeah, that is very good. That part's Ben Milton's Maze Rats, by the way. Amazing spells.
I'm gonna have to pick this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. I love this table.
Okay. Great. This is perfect. I love it.
Awesome.
Okay, yeah. So I have no idea what these spells do. I don't think the players know either, and so we're gonna figure out how to use them as we play.
It'll be great.
Great.
Awesome.
I
Right.
feel like that's pretty good for my particular quest.
Yeah.
You think
There's
that's
that.
an experience as well?
That's absolutely an experience.
All right.
Point. There's that moment of you're all. I imagine like before we go to break here. I imagine there's this point of like everyone's like, whoa. You know, and like then it looks clean around here too, like the whole
Nice.
place, it just sucked up all of the trash and everything around too, and just took it, and all that's left now is just these broken jade stones.
Sweet.
So yeah, good stuff. And at that point we're gonna go to our break, so see you on the other side. See you in about 5 minutes. Welcome back, Grasslanders. Yeah, so we just had a spirit journey. We learned how to cast spells from a spiritual dragon that got released from these jade statues, or jade stones. Good job, everybody. Oh, okay. Yeah, so now you're all kind of standing in a field. This field has been completely swept free of all of the trash and things that are around. You've done what others wouldn't do.
What about pieces of the serpent stone?
They are still there.
Any that
The
we
bits of
might
jade?
Yeah, I mean, like,
pack up.
Yeah,
and-
it
can we
fell, it
chip off some
cracked, it
jade
fissured,
and-
there's chips. Absolutely. Yeah.
Bert is scooping it up by the shovelful.
These bits of jade are about as tall as you, so this is not a situation where you can like carry these things off. This is the rules for like scraping things off and carrying into sacks.
Yep. Which is a charisma test. If
You
I
got to hack
remember
it up.
right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My charisma tests have advantage because I was famous last session. And so they have advantage for a whole session from leveling up. I'm not sure if that's really going to help.
I failed.
Okay.
My highest stat.
I
Guys.
think Fermi sees himself as above the need for crass material goods, and he also has an incredibly low charisma.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not doing this.
Okay. Vesh, you're remarkable at pulling things through here.
Mhm.
So let's say I like differential of that is 5. So can you roll a d6 for me?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's my deep cover being a minor kind of important.
4? Yeah. So it's about 9 and okay. Cool. So then yeah, you're able to pull out about, let's say this is, I have to do quick pencil math. Nice. Yeah, you're able to carry out about 333 coins worth of jade as a sack, right? You basically just hack up this stone. And Berta, can you roll a d6 for me and add -2 to it?
1d6 -2.
Yeah.
That's my best roll I ever make. I got a 4.
Oh my god. You
Wow.
actually, this is perfect because you hack up the stones and you're able to get about half as much as that away of like the parts that you think are the most worthwhile. So you just get half of that. So that's going to be 333 divided by 2. I don't know. What's 165.5? 165. It's a sack's worth of supplies.
Very awesome.
Yep. You also destroyed a spiritual site, so it's definitely worth noting. But hey,
I didn't really think of it that way.
it'll be
Fairy
fine.
gods.
I'm a lot more ambivalent about it now, but
I mean, what were they doing except just praising some stones?
That's
The
right.
emerald,
Nothing
yeah.
important.
The emerald line's gone, right? The way line.
Let's see. So, how easy is it going to be to get back to someplace civilized, especially with?
Right, it's a good question. Let's look at the map. Right,
are you pretty much giving up on the Eye of the Serpent?
this is.
We got it.
Oh, this is. Oh, I hadn't quite put that together.
So, in a sense, I'm giving up, but in another sense, maybe a more accurate sense, I have it right here in this sack in 1,000 pieces.
Well, that and the friends you made along the way.
Yeah, exactly. That's the real.
And, I
Eye
mean,
of the
and you're entombing amber. So
You're right. My warding.
or warding amber.
I would love an entombing ember. Maybe next time we get to go on a spirit quest. So we're a week away from Longridge. How much? There was the sky tower there, but we didn't really see a
There's no place to really trade there.
settle. The moon
Yeah.
facing forward. Was there anything? Do we know if there's anything down there?
What do you know about the moon facing forward? I don't think you all know much about it at all.
All of my memories of the moon facing forward are hidden behind walls in my head.
Well then,
How about
anyone
you,
else?
Amberta?
Yeah.
Amberta went lots of traveling, so
Did
you know stuff. No stuff.
I know all kinds of stuff. Tell me what to roll. 'Cause otherwise, I'll just start making up stuff, and that could
Right.
get us killed.
Well, I was thinking about the stuff you know about the moon facing forward. About if there's like any sort of like
This is where my husband was born.
wandering. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Bear man bricklayer.
Yeah.
Called such because he was hairy as can be, barrel chested, tall. And everyone knew when Bearman Bricklayer spoke, he was telling the truth to everyone but me.
Oh God. That's now you made it sad. Love it.
He made it sad. I'm on brand. If you want me to roll something, I could be full of lies.
No, I mean that sounds like wisdom, right? It's places you've heard but never seen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I failed royally.
Okay. Yes.
How old was your father, Amberta?
How old was my father?
Yeah.
He had seen a lot of winters, but not many summers. He seemed to be dishonest. In fact, I would say he was a good 2d20 old. He was 10. No, sorry. Plus 30. He was older when he had me. Cat snip has worn off. I'm sorry.
Okay. So here's the things that you know. You've heard so you know that your husband is from what's called Kraal country. Kraals being these sort of huts made out of stone huts. But you know that a lot of people, these aren't, while the places or these buildings are permanent, the people live in them aren't necessarily permanent.
Mm-hmm.
And things move around. So it's possible you can run into people there. More likely you'll run into people going towards the moon facing forward than you will at the Long Ridge. You'll definitely run into people at the Grass Colossus.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same distance.
And it's the same distance. What would you like to do?
We also don't think we have anybody really upset with us at the Grass Colossus, I believe.
Couldn't be.
Maybe half stack will be there. I think north. The sideways map just always throws me. I think east is probably the deal. Votes east. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. Well, you're outvoted anyways. So we're going east. Okay.
Fernie, do you have a particular destination that you really wanted to head, even though we would get there without food?
I'm still trying to figure out what you know, and so I'm mostly following your lead.
Observing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rocking.
Yeah.
East it is.
Cool. All right. So we're going through the Long Ridge again. Keep in mind, this is the place that's full of flies and the vampiric grass. Cool. So once more,
It's a very friendly place.
Very, very friendly. Back to the droning, gently rolling up and down hills of just grass as far as the eyes can see. It feels like you're walking through an ocean of grass. It's very lonely, except for, occasionally you hope to see one of, maybe one of you hopes to see one of those penitent monks wrapped in bandages praying, getting sustenance from the sky.
No, sad memories, man.
See those guys again. They were great.
But otherwise, got to deal with I mean, it's way better than the midges, and you understand the value of wrapping yourselves up in bandages going through the long ridge. That's for sure. But anyways, let's follow the rules, right? So misfortune check, all by deducting your food, and then we'll see what happens.
Amberta, is it yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's,
Food. We have enough food for this particular leg.
I hope I succeed. I did. Ha.
Nice. Okay. So there's no misfortune this week for you, which is good. And so instead, yep. So instead, we just see the sort of beginning parts of the day. Again, we're very far from the the Violet City, so the sun doesn't rise until about 10:30 or so in the morning. It just kind of creeps over the haze, and then the sky is just this gentle purplish pale, and it just continues that same brightness all day, kind of like a Seattle winter day, right? And at night it gets very cold. But anyways, yeah, you're all fine there. The problem that you all face coming across is you can see as the sky gets kind of dark, you're kind of getting ready. You've already begun the process of setting up your camp. You can see on the sort of far distance away, sort of not really like following you or coming closer to you, but kind of going parallel, kind of meandering, are duo just people on fire, like large beings on fire, walking. They look to be, you can kind of like see the fire illuminates their silhouettes inside the fire enough to see that they're not solid. It's like they're made out of like wood. They're just walking.
From the old world, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
the last time that we went up to some random people that we met in this area, it worked out really well, actually. So, but these people are also on fire. So
they seem to be walking pretty methodically, like the upper parts of their fire. So like their feet and stuff aren't on fire, and it doesn't seem like the fire like catches off of them and like burning the grass or anything like that. It just seems kind of contained around their heads and shoulders. A light, kind of like a torch, and they're just walking.
Are they headed the same way as we are?
Yeah, they're heading the same way as you, but they seem to be kind of just in parallel, kind of tandem, and they don't seem to mind that it's getting dark. They just seem to keep walking in the most steady pace.
I mean, I feel like walk and talk is a good time. Meet some friends on the road. Get a torch for the nighttime. Pretty good.
yeah, let's walk and talk.
Sure.
We're walking, we're
Through the
talking.
night?
Nothing.
Cool. So as you guys get close to them, what does it look like? Are you gonna try to like holler at them, try to get their attention? They seem to be ignoring you. Like they haven't even like looked over to you.
The best thing to do to people who are ignoring you is to annoy them by trying to get their attention. So, no, I'm not a diplomat anymore. Yeah. I'm not sure what we should do.
I could cast my fire horn to get their attention.
I like it. I like it a lot, actually. It makes it does it sound like, burning fire type of thing?
Like a bugle.
Still sounds like a horn. What's the fire part?
Okay. The music itself is fire. Like it's roaring, it's sizzling. It's gonna burn the house down, bring it down. They ain't ever hear
metaphorically.
It's metaphorical fire.
Yes, it's fire.
I'm cool with it.
Solid.
Wisdom.
Wisdom?
Yeah.
Not intelligence?
No, this is a spiritual horn.
Why isn't it intelligence then? I've translated some Egyptian papyri. Said all spirit is intelligence.
Or Eric will make you roll spirit. and you don't have that.
I failed.
Fail.
Okay. No,
That's
so
my wisdom for you.
it works. However, yeah. Okay. Yeah, they as soon as you blow the horn, they immediately turn and it's kind of like perfect synchronicity, right? They just both cock their heads this way. You can see their
Like-
faces are just hollow expressions. You can see that they are like automatons. They're not people.
Yeah. And they're like, oh shit, ska band, because
yeah,
it's just
and everyone's skanking as you're just no, and they both turn and stop and go to you with like their hands out, like trying to grab, like clearly like trying to grab as they're approaching you. Yep, marching as dauntlessly as they did before, but just seems like their routine of walking just means that now they're going to where the horn was.
Sounds like that's a bit too fire,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah.
I got burned.
Oh. Ha.
I'm gonna cast Amber Warding. Just gonna
It
keep.
Tell
wards
us.
Amberta away from you guys.
No, it's a color. This is the Rainbow Landers type of thing, and it's all about the color.
Oh, Arberlin in chat says maybe it's friendly fire.
Oh.
Thank you. That's good. I like it. Yeah.
I think it's the amber warding is about the color. It's gonna ward amber colored things. At least
Okay.
this particular incarnation of it.
sure.
And so as long as they are burning not so bright that they turn like blue or something, then we're probably okay.
Okay, yeah, if you say so.
That's gonna be my let's hope that this works thing.
Okay.
I
Well,
suppose
again,
that I can
it's cast the spell, but then you forget it, right?
that's right. Well, but I'm trying to figure out if I can not forget it. That's the other hope.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm sure that this isn't necessarily a delicate task. Yeah.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay. Fine.
No, you attune to your third eye. You gaze across the great expanse of the cosmologies.
That's right. I
You don't remember what
intone
it said. But-
something really deep.
You'll try to remember the memory better the next day.
Tomorrow.
But yeah, for now though, the amber wards go up. What does this look like?
He sings something in kind of that cave, the echoey cave thing, and the warding that comes up around, it's like 20 feet out, is solid enough that it echoes back in, and so inside the amber ward is just this really low echoing. It just bounces around the ward itself,
Yeah,
and as it hits the amber, it just kind of glows just a little.
yeah, I kind of was imagining shimmering amber, like the shape of acoustic foam. It's like the
Oh.
ripples, like it just has that sort of like ripply shape to it because it's perfect for acoustics. Yeah, it almost looks like low polygon count shape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Kind of has that sort of effect to it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and you hope that this will stop the burner golems. What does the warding do if something tries to enter it? Does it trap it? Is it like a wall?
It's like the mouse guard scent
border.
scent border thing. Yeah.
Oh,
more of a-
and
it's
it works
trying
off
to.
and it works off your acoustics.
Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of like a stealth shield that works off your acoustics as long as you keep
Yeah.
talking.
So
as long as
when
you
the
keep
song hits it, so as long as I filibuster, we can keep these off the house floor. When the song hits it, outside of the ward, it sounds just like heavily distorted. It's just not a nice sound. Inside, it's just kind of this low, comfy bass sound.
I super love that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You just save your old hides here. That's awesome. Yeah. I love the idea that the golems get to the wall here, and then they like their hands are out and they don't go across the wall. They just kind of stop. and then you see their arms go down. Again, this is synchronous. Like both of them are on the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Down, turn face, and proceeded to keep going back, walking. The Mina's direction there.
Original direction.
Yeah, the original direction.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe we hang out here for a little while, give them some distance.
Yeah, like, maybe we shouldn't talk to people.
That's what I've
That's
learned.
early.
That's my lesson.
Good
Don't talk to
save.
new people.
Yes.
That's right.
Um.
New people are the
Yeah.
worst.
Looking at them though, that close to them, you could see sort of etched on these heads and the faces of the golems when they got to the wall. You see they had the same little etch mark to it, maybe like a maker's mark. It looks sort of like an inverted crescent moon, with like 3 talon marks through it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So someone
Ooh.
made them or controls them,
Sure.
like a rune, a maker's mark rune. They're golems. Remember about golems too, right? Their bodies, no intelligences.
Right. Don't suppose we can steal one. Maybe we'll think about that later.
Yeah, maybe. Or it's no souls. I forget which one it is. Anyways, yeah, good stuff.
Wow,
You're
for
able
the
to
first
avoid-
time, I feel like handwriting my notes really paid off because I could actually draw the maker's mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will draw it over here too.
See how accurately I got it.
No, I mean you got it pretty right. Just basically that. Only I can't. There's a weird glitch right now going on Roll20 about freehanding stuff. The freehand draw tool doesn't show it until you're done, and so I couldn't see how much I made that arc. But yeah, it's basically like that with like three lines, with the middle line a little bit longer than the others.
Cool.